The NGLCC wants to be part of your long-term success as a certified LGBT business enterprise. And we're here to serve as an important bridge between you, corporate America, the government, and each other LGBT-owned businesses. And we want to help you and communicate to you that certification is the beginning of a process, and it's a way to build key relationships, which we hope will serve you well over the long term. Once you are certified, you have instant access to all of our corporate partners and the other LGBTBEs, and we encourage you to develop a game plan for reaching out to them in a targeted way, and we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies for how to do that today. So to kind of dive right in with the certification basics, it's important for you guys to be familiar with our database, which lives online, and it's the BizLink database, and you can find it at nglcc.cvmsolutions, that's CV as in Victor M, solutions.com. There you can log in with the login that you created when you created your profile, when you first applied for certification, and you can use this as your main portal to search for corporate partners within our pool of 140 corporate partners that work for the NGLCC and find contacts within these organizations to reach out to you for business opportunities. You can also search for other LGBTBEs, and you can look for other LGBTBEs based on your location or based on the commodity that you're looking for that you think would be a good fit for you for strategic partnerships or for business-to-business opportunities. So again, that's nglcc.cvmsolutions.com, and when you log in with your email address and username, you'll see on the side several links, and the most important of those being the corporate partners and LGBTBE links to search through our constituents. So the primary function or thrust of the Supplier Diversity Initiative is the connection with our corporate partners. The NGLCC has 140 corporate partners who have made a commitment to doing business with LGBT-owned businesses and including them in their supply chain. And CVM Solutions is kind of where you're going to find, or it's kind of ground zero for where you're going to make those connections. Also, if you go to our website, if you go to nglcc.org and then visit the corporate relations section, you'll see a list of all our corporate partners, all of their logos. And if you click on any of the logos for any of our corporate partners, you'll be taken to their main supplier diversity portal where you can register as a vendor. It's really important to register as a vendor for corporations that you're hoping to do business with, because registration as a vendor is a prerequisite for consideration for any future contracting opportunity. So that's kind of step one. There are a lot of corporate partners, obviously, since we have 140, and we recommend as a new supplier that you make a list of about 10 corporate partners that you would like to engage with as potential customers based on your core strengths, what you're offering as a company and what they're looking for in the services they provide, and based on your past history of experience within their industry, and then register through their supplier diversity portal and reach out to their supplier diversity person. You should understand that, as I mentioned earlier, that certification is part of your long-term success. And so it's important to understand that if you're pursuing corporate opportunities, it typically takes about 3 to 5 years from the point of, when you're making your first contact with a large corporation to actually receiving a contract. And it could possibly be shorter than that, but that's typical turnaround time. So that has to be something that you are building into your long-term plan as you make that first contact. Now, that being said, that's for corporations that you are making an initial contact with. You can also, once you become certified, it's also an excellent time if you're already working with any NGLCC corporate partners, if you're already in the process of pursuing a bid, or if you're actually working with them as a supplier. Once you become certified, it's important to let them know, to let your existing contacts know, and let the supplier diversity professionals at that organization know that you have been certified, and then you kind of have that extra kind of reinforcement of your relationship with them. So I mentioned supplier diversity professionals a couple of times, and I just want to make sure that everyone understands what a supplier diversity professional is, and what their role is in relation to you as a certified diverse supplier. So many of the corporate contacts that you're going to come into contact with through the NGLCC are going to be supplier diversity professionals. Now, these professionals are staffed within a company whose role specifically is to ensure that diverse-owned businesses have access to supply chain opportunities. So this person is an advocate for you inside a company. And this is someone that you wouldn't have if you weren't a diverse-owned business. They're specifically, you are their constituency, and their role is to service you and provide that extra layer of contact and opportunity, and that extra layer of support, and that's something that you would not have if you weren't certified. So there's sometimes a little bit of confusion on the part of diverse suppliers where they may feel as though the supplier diversity professional is not always the one that can actually make the purchasing decision, but what you have to understand is that person is your connection. They're a key source of intelligence for you within a company, which means that a lot of times they can provide insight on upcoming opportunities, contracting opportunities, what that corporation is looking to buy in the near or midterm, and connect you with other key contacts within the company, including procurement staff and staff within your target category. So that's kind of the overview of, connecting with corporate professionals through the NGLCC database specifically. And again, for those of you new here, I just want to make sure you all know that it's nglcc.cvmsolutions.com is where you log in and find that portal. I also want to talk to you a little bit about our annual Out for Business conference, which this year is July 30th through August 2nd. It's in Dallas at the Omni Dallas Convention Center Hotel. We're really excited about this year's conference, and we expect over 700 attendees. Last year we had about 500 in Chicago, and that actually was sold out. So we're expecting an even bigger turnout this year, and we're really excited. It's really important to think about the conference, to put it on your radar and to get it on your calendar, because this is really where you're going to receive a lot of the benefit from your certification. Now, the NGLCC's Out for Business Conference is the largest gathering of corporate procurement and supplier diversity professionals who are seeking to do business specifically with LGBT business owners. So that's going to be really a prime opportunity to meet the corporate partners, to meet the people who make buying decisions, to get that face time and to start those relationships. One of the most exciting things at the conference is our matchmaker meetings. For those of you who don't know, matchmakers are essentially speed dating, but for businesses. They consist of pre-made 15-minute appointments between LGBT business owners and the corporate procurement professionals, where you get to tell them about your business, learn about what the upcoming opportunities are for you within their company, and make that face-to-face connection that you can really use to leverage as you move forward pursuing opportunities with that company. We had over 300 meetings in Chicago in 2012 between small LGBT business owners and the corporate representatives, and we're hoping to increase that even more in 2013 in Dallas. We have panel sessions which are geared towards LGBT business owners and include thought leadership on developing corporate contracts, building your brand, strategic growth, etc. So we're going to be opening registration for the conference very shortly, and it's important that you book as early as possible. And this year we're actually excited we always have an early bird registration rate that for LGBTBEs to get, a really good deal, because we think it's such an important opportunity. And this year we're going to have an even better pre-early bird, pre-registration rate, which is going to be available for about 2 weeks once registration opens, which is going to be very shortly. And all that information will be going out to all of you guys, all the LGBTBEs. And, there's also going to be information on hotel registration and airfare, and we're going to have special opportunities for those as well. Another area that's important to think about, or that many of you have already participating in, is affiliate membership. So the NGLCC has 38 local affiliate chambers throughout the United States. These affiliates provide local opportunities, including professional and business networking. That's really crucial for your growth. They have very robust programming on the ground, and as most of you know, going through the certification process, anyone who's an affiliate member receives their certification and their recertification at no additional cost. Those are a $400 and $200 fee, respectively, and those are waived for affiliate members because we really want to encourage taking advantage of all those opportunities that exist, with your local chamber. Another main benefit that we have through the Supplier Diversity Initiative is the mentorship program. The mentorship program was established to match certified LGBTBEs with corporate representatives and other successful LGBT business owners who have the background and expertise to assist the applicant with business development and focus areas identified by the LGBTBE protege. The program helps LGBTBEs identify and overcome barriers that typically inhibit success. By connecting LGBTBEs with experienced and committed mentors, the program fosters growth and enhances competitiveness of certified LGBTBEs. The mentors provide consultation in a specific needed area of expertise while offering business development suggestions and insight. The NGLCC supports and monitors each mentor-protege relationship during its initial year to ensure that the match remains relevant and effective for both parties. The application process and matching is going to be announced. It usually occurs sometime during the first quarter, so we'll be getting information for that out shortly. And just to let you know, you do need to be, in order to participate in the mentorship program, you have to be certified for 1 year. So if you have not been certified by 1 year, by first quarter this year, then it's something to really think about and put on your calendar for next year. Another benefit that we have is the scholarship program. The NGLCC grants access to executive education courses in partnership with Dartmouth College to strengthen the management skills of LGBTBE business owners and build the capacity of their business. It's specifically in partnership with Dartmouth, we have the Tuck School. It's the name of the program is the Building a High Performance Minority Business, and it's part of Tuck School of Business Executive Education Program. And this amount covers tuition, books, materials, accommodations, and meals. And David, actually, who's on the call, he participated in this program in the past, so he's going to address this a little bit from the perspective of someone who's been a recipient of the Tuck Scholarship. In addition to the Tuck Scholarship, we have a general scholarship, which can be for any amount up to $5,000, and which can be applied to tuition fees of a business development course of the applicant's choice at an accredited college and university. So, in other words, if there is something at your local college or another course, another executive management course or any other kind of education that you're interested in order to build your business, you can apply through NGLCC for a scholarship to receive funding towards that course. And we've had people complete courses such as emotional intelligence, business leadership. We've had participants in the UCLA management program. So it's really anything that's related to you building your capacity as a business owner. I also wanted to touch a little bit and make sure that everyone is aware that in addition to once you're certified, there is a recertification process. So to make sure you guys are keeping up and making sure that your certification is staying updated, certification must be renewed every 13 months approximately. So when you're certified, you get 1 year and then to the end of the following month kind of as an extra grace period. You receive a notification reminder from the account manager for your region 1 month before you're due for renewal, and you should receive regular notices thereafter until you move forward with recertification. So you're going to want to go ahead and complete the updated form when you receive it and return it with the requested documents. And we do a site visit every 3 years, so it's been more than 3 years since your last site visit. Then we'll work with you to schedule another one. And like I said, it's important to keep your certification current because you're going to need a current certified certificate as you're pursuing opportunities with NGLCC corporate partners or to take advantage of any of our other benefits that I mentioned. So that's kind of the 30,000-foot overview. So now I wanted to turn it over to David. So as I mentioned before, David Ricciardi is the owner of Proximo Consulting Services, which has been certified as an LGBT BE for several years, I believe since 2009. David is also the Supplier Diversity Chair of the NGLCC NY, which is NGLCC's New York affiliate. So he's going to talk to you a little bit about his own experience as a certified LGBT BE. And as I mentioned, he was a recipient of the Tuck Scholarship, which I hope he's also can talk to us a little bit about.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I can talk about all of those things. Thank you very much, Phil.
Sure.
So I'll try to take, Phil did a terrific job of, in a very short amount of time going through all of the opportunities that NGLCC offers its certified businesses. So what I'm going to try to touch on each of those same points, but, kind of like from the perspective of an actual supplier, that has to, take the time to implement and, and deal with all of those things and take advantage of them. So I'm going to break down what I want to talk about into two major parts. And, I'll start with trying to get business and dealing with the actual corporations themselves, which is kind of one of the first things that everybody thinks about when they think of getting certified. And it's one of the first things that draws a lot of suppliers to certification. So, Phil mentioned all of the, things that you absolutely need to do. There are 140 corporate partners. You can find out information about each of them from the NGLCC website and from their database. It is highly recommended, unless you happen to have a business development staff of 60 or 70 people, you're not going to go after all of them. Many of you are probably like the rest of us, relatively small or mid-sized businesses. So you want to pick those that you really want to go after. And, those are, 10 is a good number. You might, depending on your type of business, maybe a few more than that. But, something manageable, especially for your first year of getting certified. And, after, having done this myself and also being chair of supplier diversity for New York, I talked to a lot of the supplier diversity and procurement people. And, there's a few recurring things that you'll probably want to keep in mind as you're going through trying to build that list. One of which is definitely industry experience. By and large, it's not a 100% rule, but, they like, the companies like to see that they're not the first person you're doing business with in that industry. So if you've done business in insurance or finance or retail or whatever, those are your best candidates. That may be obvious to a lot of you, but, this may not be the right time to go out and try to do a brand new industry that you've never had experience in before. And the other thing you're going to want to look for is a lot about, corporate culture, from an organizational standpoint and then also from a personal standpoint. Through the NGLCC, you're going to be able to meet lots of people, people that you really never would have met before, by, going it alone without a certification behind you. And, different organizations, operate differently. Again, that may be a very obvious statement, but, really by talking to NGLCC and talking to your, peer certified businesses that have been at this for a while, you can get a pretty good sense of who may be the right fit for you. Certain organizations, have a bigger supplier diversity department than others. Some, have more of a focus on LGBT business enterprises. And for some, it's kind of a very small component. Certain companies are receptive to talk to new people, and certain have, vendor lists that get locked in and certification or no, you're not going to make a lot of headway with them. So you want to really do your research by drawing upon as many resources as you can to really identify those that you can really strike up a very good conversation with. Because as any of you know, that if you may not have been certified for a long time, but if you've been in business for a long time, sales are done based upon personal relationships. Getting certified is not going to change, the fundamental way in which you wind up selling. You're not just, because you're certified, you're not just going to start receiving, a bunch of blinds, RFPs that you'll start to bid on. those things can come about as opportunities, but your best bet is really to develop the relationships with the organizations and the people that you hit it off with the best, and those for which your business, your particular industry, you've got enough opportunity for within those organizations. So that's kind of like to kind of level set the field on the prep process you have to go through. And then after that, really, it's I think Phil did allude to this before. It is a long process. You're going to start to build relationships. You're going to reach out perhaps via email first. Dear Mrs. So-and-so, head of supplier diversity for such and such company. We're sort of newly certified. We've been in business. This is our industries. You're really going to want to, hit them and then start that conversation. It is a long process, not just because sales by its nature is generally pretty long. It depends on your industry. But these people have to get to know you and they have to get to trust you. The supplier diversity folks are not just dealing with you, and they are not just dealing with the LGBT business enterprises. Those same people are also dealing with NMSDC, National Minority Supplier Diversity Council certified folks, of which there's thousands and thousands. I'm not sure of their exact number. And WeBank certified businesses, women-owned businesses, of which there are thousands as well. And they also then deal with, veteran-owned business and disabled-owned businesses and, small businesses and hub zones. This is all in their purview. So they're getting peppered every day by hundreds of emails and calls. So you're going to have to be patient. That's all the more reason why you really want to focus in on the industries where you'll stand out, because you've got the right experience, you've got the right product or service for their particular industry. And you're really going to have to focus on value proposition as well. You might be doing this and you might be a terrific fit, but there might be a couple of other diverse-owned businesses, minority, women, LGBT, and otherwise that, are also are good fits and have the experience. So what are you going to do to really stand out, to these folks and make them realize that they really need to be talking to you rather than those other people? So those are things that you have to do. Now, all the stuff that's Phil, mentioned in here are really, some of the unique things that you can do through NGLCC to really help develop those relationships. And with that certification, you can start to call procurement, on your own. But you really want to take advantage of these other opportunities. Phil, went through the conference, very thoroughly, and the conference, in my opinion, is the best business development tool that I do of any type, NGLCC or otherwise, all year long. The 500 attendees last year, expected to be 700 this year. I think that's terrific. It's still a manageable sized conference that brings in supplier diversity, procurement, and a few executives and buyers from all the corporate partners, and then some of our best, I think, certified suppliers attend the conference as well. I've spoken to supplier diversity professionals, a lot of them who also attend the WeBank and the NMSDC ones, and they say they're huge affairs. I mean, thousands and thousands of people, and you really don't get to talk, to people as much as you would like, and you don't get to make, connections. You don't get to have longer conversations, and they say they really like our conference because they really have the ability to sit down and talk to their peers, to talk to their suppliers, potential suppliers, existing suppliers, and really kind of take the time. And if you think about that, that's really, really powerful. Where else can you get that kind of face time? An entire week of business development opportunities with some of the, premier corporations, in the country. And then you can really, springboard from that to, have additional meetings, after that. You'll get to know, John very well, whoever John may be, and then you'll be able to follow him, and he'll remember you. And, and then you can take it from there. Not everything will work out, of course, but, you're going to have the ability to do a lot more than you normally do. And then hopefully you can engage, hopefully you have a very active local affiliate chamber, that really engages its corporate partners, because you can go to the conference in Dallas this year and, everybody will be from all over the country. But then when you return to your home market, let's say it's Los Angeles, don't know if there's anybody from LA on the phone. I'm from New York. We've got, you've got corporations there, and if your affiliate has the opportunities to bring you together with them, those are things you definitely want to exploit. There's no such thing as bad FaceTime. You got to stick in people's memory, and this kind of gives you the ability to do all of that sort of stuff. So that's kind of I'll get down off my soapbox for just a little while about business development, and how to approach the conversations, with the corporations, and then I'm going to kind of go on to my second set of points, which is really about general business development and things you can do with the chamber outside of purely developing relationships and hopefully getting contracts with the corporate partners. The scholarship is the first thing I'll start with. You get to apply for it each year. Phil gave you the parameters before. I attended last year, so I went up to Dartmouth in New Hampshire for an entire week, and it's got diverse suppliers, small and mid-sized businesses from all over the country, LGBT, women-owned, minority businesses, veteran businesses. I think my cohort was probably about 60 businesses, with some really top-notch industry talent that they bring in. They're not they're not ivory tower kind of folks, just talking to you out of textbooks. They are former, CFOs, marketing executives that have worked for major corporations that come in and, do this work with Dartmouth. And it's really fantastic. The information you get out of them in a week exceeds some of the stuff I've learned in 15 years of operating my own company. So if you're like a lot of people, you get into business because you're in one industry and you know how that industry works, you know how to do what you do, but you kind of learn on the fly how to actually run and operate a business. This is really terrific. And then the people that you meet, from across the country, just learning from what they do right and they do wrong is also really, really powerful. And, it's a scholarship. So, it is nothing like free knowledge, free, really great knowledge. So, so that's my 2 cents there on talk. But I'm going to come back to some of the other things that you can do with the chamber that I think sometimes get overlooked, but can be extremely extremely powerful. And that is just the peer networking that can happen with your fellow certified businesses. You're probably from an affiliate chamber somewhere around the country. And you do a lot of local networking there, and as you know, you're probably, if you're like all the rest of the chambers, the typical chamber, you're going to meet a lot of different people, small business owners, professionals, accountants. There'll be some people from companies, at these events, and it's a terrific, local opportunity. I think I've seen after, having been involved for 4 years, that the certified businesses, kind of by their very nature, are, I don't want to say a step above, but a little more advanced. In other words, they're trying to target corporations. They're already doing business with some major companies. So they've got more experience and a little more heft behind them. And they tend to gravitate towards each other then. And, this is really, a great opportunity to meet people from across the country that you never would have had the opportunity to deal with before. And you can, I've developed partnerships with people from all over the country, coast to coast, where, they have become suppliers to me, whether it's a staffing agency or a printing company or somebody that I just kind of really hit it off with, somebody that was really terrific. And, then also the people which you can develop strategic partnerships with. And, I know other companies that have built really, really terrific long-term strategic partnerships because one has product A and the other has service B. And until they met each other, they never realized how terrific a fit it was. And then they can go out together and they land really big business with it. There's quite a few success stories like that. And one of my personal favorite stories, to belabor the point too much, is I was at I guess this is going to be 3 conferences ago, the D.C. one, the last one that was in D.C. And I was at one of the sessions, which was about networking for LGBT businesses. And, when a guy I knew already, he was running a networking group that he was going to turn into a monthly teleconference call. He's from Denver. And I attended his next conference call the following month, and there was a guy on the call who was from New York City. I had never, ever met him before. Turns out we're in complementary lines of work, and a few months later, he brought me into one of his clients, and we did a project together. Completely random. I had to go to D.C. to meet somebody from Denver to introduce me, to a strategic partner from New York. You're not. These are opportunities that you have to, really, be in it to kind of find and then exploit. It's a terrific opportunity overall. So, I think that's probably what I might say on those two basic topics, dealing with the corporate partners and then dealing with your fellow peer organizations. So, I think that's probably what I have right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, David. That was really insightful, and it's really powerful to hear, the personal experience and the way that you've experienced it. And like you said, it's something that you really need to be in to kind of fully leverage, making those direct connections face to face. So we do have some questions coming in, and I just want to tell you guys one more time, you probably all heard at this point, but if you have any questions, either from myself or David, you can send them to Brent Stewart, that's BSTEWART at NGLCC.org. And we will try to get to as many of them as possible. So someone asked, why does it take so long, 3 to 5 years, to receive a contract from a corporate partner? That is kind of the golden question. So essentially, I should probably emphasize that that's not an NGLCC thing or a diverse supplier thing. That's the way corporate America works in general. One of the biggest reasons for that is that for most of the things that corporations are buying, they have an incumbent. So there's someone that they're getting that service from already. It's not like every day a corporation is looking to service all of its outstanding, it's not as if all of their contracts are always outstanding. So they have an incumbent that's in that is currently servicing them, that usually has a 3 to 5 year contract themselves. So it's going to be a while for that an opportunity to even become available. And then once that becomes available, there's a good chance that it might go back to the incumbent. If not, there's going to be, a bid process, a vetting process, and there's going to be a lot of competition. And that's 3 to 5 years. It's a generalization. It depends on your category. It depends on what industry you're in. It depends on whether how strong your relationship with that company is. And like David said, these are individuals, the procurement people are receiving bids constantly from, many other companies, typically in most areas. The supplier diversity professionals are, receiving inquiries daily, not only from our LGBTBEs, but from, the minority and women business owners across the other sectors. So it's important to be pursuing multiple opportunities at the same time. And, that 3 to 5 years, that's for, the big corporations, that's for the IBM, for the American Express. As David mentioned, when you're talking about forming a strategic partnership with another LGBTBE, or if you're, looking to do business directly with another LGBTBE, those lead times are much shorter, and there could be they could happen really instantly when you're going small business to small business. David, I don't know if you have any specific insight about the lead time for corporations.
Yeah.
Is kind of just...
I can say something about that, and I'll illustrate with a concrete example of the length of time. And part of it goes to, being able to, have the time and the opportunity to give your value proposition, and then dealing with these people. Like I started out by saying they were very, very busy. With one of the NGLCC corporate partners, a nationally known health insurer, I met them, their supplier diversity folks, at the conference in Vegas, which was 2 years ago this summer. Mm-hmm. And, we had a good conversation, and then it took me 2 months after that, actually 3 months after that, of following up to get an online presentation with her. So that was October. And then she liked what she saw, and then to get the next meeting, because she had to drag in some of her procurement folks, who deal with the contract negotiations, to look at my stuff and get coordinating all those calendars, took us until March of 2012 to do an in-person meeting, so I kind of flew out to meet them. And then that led to a subsequent meeting in May, and then a subsequent introduction in, I think it was July, it was actually July or August, to a brand new unit that they were forming. And so we started engaging with them, and it took 4 months to work out an MSA, which we signed in Master Services Agreement in November. And that's just the MSA, and this is already a year and a half in. And, so now we're looking to add, some sort of actual statement of work to the MSA so that we can execute, while we're doing that. And internally, simultaneously, we're also working on some other opportunities as well. So, just scheduling people can take months at a time. And then the legal negotiations took another few months. So you see that illustrates why it can take so long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we're definitely, and it can be a challenging, rigorous process, and we're not trying to kind of soft-pedal that. I had a question regarding the mentorship program, if I can kind of go through that again. So the mentorship program, as I mentioned, it was established to match certified LGBTBEs with either representatives of our corporate partners or with other LGBT business owners. So essentially, when you apply for the mentorship program, you're going to say, this is where I am, this is the stage my business is at, and you're going to identify specific goals or specific challenges that you have that you would like addressed through contact with someone who has the expertise to address those goals. So let's say, you're a retailer who's looking to do, you're a florist who does walk-in business, and you're looking to kind of grow to where you're, doing events and doing venues and, for larger conferences, et cetera. We can pair you with someone who's kind of made that transition, either, the same type of business or in a different industry, but a similar transition. Or, let's say you're moving into a new industry, you're marketing, and you're looking to really service the financial services industry for the first time. We can pair you with one of our corporate partners who are in that industry, and then we set up, you go through the application process, and we use the application to look at, okay, these are exactly the areas, the roadblocks you're having, this is where you need help, and then we're looking at the people who have come forward to participate as mentors, finding where the best match is, and then we set up regular points of contact over the course of a year, and the mentor and the protege kind of come to an agreement about the goals they want to accomplish during the mentoring relationship. The mentor provides coaching and support and honest feedback on the protege's needs, and they communicate regularly and benchmark and kind of look towards how they can reach those goals. And the NGLCC kind of, we really let the mentor and protege kind of create that relationship, and then we just kind of monitor to make sure that it's moving forward, that the communication is having regularly. It's very specific to what your goals are in terms of what your growth, what kind of growth you're looking to achieve. So it might be something we can go into more detail with a specific individual, but that's kind of an overview of what the program is. And David, I don't know if you've actually done the mentorship. I know you've done the scholarship.
Yeah, I have not done the mentorship. I know of quite a few other suppliers that have done it, and they all really like it. I mean, if you get a good mentor, and a lot of them seem to be quite good, it's very valuable, especially I think some of them have used it to really, get business within the company that is mentoring them. That seems to be a really terrific opportunity there, because they talk about developing a trusting relationship, which is what you need to make the sale.
Yeah,
they're mentoring, they trust you. So.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we can't, if we pair you with someone, we can't guarantee that they'll it'll turn into business, but in terms of, it's a good way to build a relationship. Right. And then also, so that's we kind of have that in-house NGLCC mentoring program, and then a lot of our corporate partners have their own mentorship programs, either, for business owners in general, or for diverse suppliers, or for LGBT suppliers. A lot of those times, those are very focused on a specific industry. There'll be a program just for consultants or just for people in the IT field. And we don't, again, those are programs that are run by our corporate partners, and then we kind of will always let the suppliers know about that when it's relevant to them, although we don't actually control those directly. So another question we have, what is the NGLCC doing in relation to the federal government? What about 8A minority status? So this is a really important question, and we are looking to increase the opportunities that LGBT businesses have in terms of competing for corporate contracts. So currently, LGBT is not recognized as a minority status under the Small Business Act, for 8A minority status. We would like to see that changed. We don't expect it to change with the current way that the House of Representatives is constituted, but what we are doing is we're working directly with federal agencies individually to sign memorandums of understanding with individual agencies to open up their procurement chains and kind of build those lines of communication between LGBT business owners and individual agencies. And in November, in conjunction with our national dinner, we had our first federal procurement fair where we had, I believe it was about 20 agencies. It was kind of a mini expo where representatives of federal agencies came. It was hosted by the Department of Commerce, and federal agencies came specifically to meet with certified LGBT business owners. So it's kind of something that we're building gradually. We certainly don't have the level of penetration into the federal government and agencies that we do with corporate America and with our corporate partners. It's just reflective of a different way that the government moves, and that involves changes to statute. But anyone that is interested in working with the federal government or that is currently either pursuing federal contracts or has active federal contracts, definitely let us know about that, and we definitely are interested in supporting you. And it kind of, like I said, it's kind of specific to the agency. So someone asked, what suggestions do you have for those of us who do not have a local affiliate chamber? What would you suggest? So this kind of depends on two things. One, there are some affiliate chambers that serve, there are some that are specific to cities, to municipalities, and there are some that serve very large regions. For example, we have the North Texas LGBT Chamber, sometimes referred to informally as the Dallas Chamber, which is where it's headquartered and where a lot of its programming is, but it actually serves a really big swath of Texas. So I would definitely encourage you to visit our website and look at what chambers are close to you, and you might actually be in the footprint of one of our affiliate chambers, and that's something that we can assist you with. There's also, in a lot of cities where we don't have formal affiliate chambers that are, organized as 501c6 affiliate chambers. Sometimes, in smaller municipalities, there's an LGBT center that kind of serves as a similar hub. They might have, just an initiative within their center programming for LGBT business owners. And so this is kind of specific to the area that you're in. I look forward to supporting your continued success. So thank you.